It's JP Finlay. It's the Beltway Football Podcast. We're brought to you by Oarsman Automotive of Virginia. We ride with them. Want you to do the exact same thing. You can check them out online at oarsmanva.com. Joined by the big man, Mr. Mitch Tischler. Mitchell, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. Happy to talk more Brandon Aiyuk because, man, that's been such a fun storyline this whole offseason.
You'll be shocked to know he requested a trade. Just shocked to know he requested a trade. The formality of requesting the trade, because we know you're going to hold out from training camp next week, is like, I wonder at what point the Niners are frustrated with all this. We've kind of made our case clear. I don't believe this makes sense for Washington. If Adam Peters is committed to building through the draft, they've got to get better on both trenches. I wouldn't want to give away draft picks. This is a long-term rebuild here. I know that, like, for fans that have been kicked in the mud for 20, 25 years, they want immediacy. But Peters just got here. Harris just got here. They want to build this thing the right way. Having to give away players or picks and then sign a guy to 25, 30 mil just doesn't add up to me. And it doesn't add up to the Niners. Dude, tell me what you think. The only player that would make sense for the Niners to get back in an Aiyuk trade, because the Niners' focus is winning the Super Bowl, would be Terry McLaurin. And I don't think I'd make that trade.
Yeah, I mean, you could make an argument that if the Commanders were going to do something with John Allen, maybe that would make sense because he's a big-time player, and certainly he would help that defensive line a lot. But at the end of the day, I think we've said this enough. I don't think a trade matters. I think I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think the love for Brandon Aiyuk across the league might have gone over their skis a little bit. He's certainly a good football player, but are we sure that he's a top 10 receiver in the NFL outside of that 49ers offense? Certainly, I'm not ready to give up, draft picks and pay a guy who I'm not exactly sure is a elite NFL receiver. Through all this Brandon Aiyuk stuff and the request for a trade and all that, it makes you appreciate what Terry McLaurin did when he was up for his contract. And honestly, Cam Curl too, where they still showed up to the offseason activities. They weren't participating, but they were at least there, and they didn't want to risk injury as they were trying to work through whatever contract stuff they were. I think Terry has shown you so much. And if you go out and make a trade for a guy like Aiyuk, you're giving up, whatever draft compensation, you're paying him. And then you're also telling Terry,
I'm not advocating for that at all.
I know, but You're setting the market for what you got to pay Terry then as well, because I agree Terry's a very good receiver. And I think everyone that's fans of the Burgundy and Gold know kind of what kind of guy he is. Brandon Aiyuk is going to want to reset the wide receiver market. When Terry is trying to negotiate his contract next year.
I don't know if he's the audacity for Aiyuk to say that he would want to reset the Washington receiver market.
You know what? He's not gonna one up the Justin Jefferson deal. You're right, but he's gonna ask for
or Tyreek
money, right? But Terry's gonna be up next year. You're probably gonna have to start negotiating with him if you want to bring him back. And I don't think those negotiations are going to be quite as aggressive or troublesome as the Aiyuk and 49ers are. And I think by bringing in a guy who just went through that, you're just creating yourself a situation here in Washington.
Terry's not up till the end of the 25 season. So it's not like he's not in a contract season. Like, he's got 25 on.
Right. I'm saying
26 is the void year.
Yeah.
I don't think any of this, I think this is a much ado about nothing, because I think it's not really in the cards. I also wonder, and I don't want to pull this thread too far because we don't know, and Terry's been so above it throughout his whole career, but I kind of wonder how he feels about all this. Like, hey, rookie quarterback, maybe stop helping this dude. And like, I think Jayden at this point is like, I'm out, or at least I'm taking my distance. I did notice, as silly as this is, Jayden posted some pictures to Instagram last night. None of them had Brandon Aiyuk. So I think maybe that's a positive step. I think you and I are in the same spot. I think a lot of fans are excited about the possibility of Aiyuk. I don't think it makes sense. If you're building through the draft, it would have been one thing draft weekend. It doesn't add up to me now.
And I think it's fair to say we saw Terry working out with Jayden and the rest of the offense this offseason, right? Like in this dead period. And, we know that Aiyuk and Jayden Daniels are friends. And I think Aiyuk kind of, maybe took advantage of his friend a little bit along the way.
Totally.
Yeah.
He used him. No, we don't have to pretend on that. He 100% used a rookie that maybe didn't understand the scope of the league. And maybe they're cool with it, Like maybe they're like, who cares? But that happened 100%.
Yeah.
And I'll be I would very educatedly guess that some folks in Ashburn had said enough's enough and got on the phone and said, hey, enough is enough with this stuff. I'm technically speculating, but I'm very confident some folks in Ashburn had some conversations, and I wouldn't be stunned if some folks in Ashburn finally called Aiyuk's agent and said, what are you doing here, dude?
Yeah.
You think you're helping anything? Yeah. Right.